Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be doing our flowers. I've decided that we're going to be doing white flowers with a hint of blue, and we're going to be doing a little bit of the orange for the middle portion of it. So I have a round tipped brush. It's pretty small. It's going to help me with making round corners. You could also use a flat tipped, which is what we used earlier to do the background and the ribbon. You can use a flat one, but I feel like the round ones are a little bit easier to do kind of circular or U-shaped paintings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using, again, kind of like how we did the pink, you're going to be using a lot more white and a little bit of the colors. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of blue and a lot more white. So you can make as many petals as you want. The one picture that you showed me, most of them have 6 petals. That is fine. So what we're going to do is when we're going to be making these petals is you're actually going to not fill it in really close to the middle, because again, that's what we're going to be doing our orange. So once we get our petals on, we're going to let it dry and then we're going to put orange on top of it. So we'll start with the one further over here. I'm going to start kind of near where I had sort of made out my middle, and I'm going to basically just do little U's. Those are going to be my petals. Upside down U's. Now you can make them more circular, you can make them longer, whichever you prefer doing. And all you're going to do is you're just going to, again, just keep making U's. You can have some darker than the others, you can have some lighter than the others. They can overlap, they can not overlap, it's whatever you choose to do. And however you want to put on your flowers, flower petals is fine. There's no wrong way to do a flower petal. No wrong way at all. So as you can see, I've got little blue flowers. Now look, right in the middle, I left most of that kind of blank because I'm going to be putting little orange dots in there. So now what we're going to be doing is we're just going to kind of move along. Now this one's kind of fairly small. I can make my next one at the top a little bit bigger, and I can do this one a little bit more white than I did that one. That one has a lot more blue in it. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this one bigger petals, and I'm barely going to be adding in some blue on this one. This one's going to be more of a whiter petal. Make sure you have paint on here too, because the background tends to show through, especially since it's pretty dark. So just make sure you've got enough paint. And again, I picked up a lot of blue on that one. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you kind of go with it. As Bob Ross, it's a happy little tree. There's no mistakes in art. You just go with it. Make it your own. There you go. So then there's my next flower. They don't have to be equally shaped. They can be oblong shaped. They can have a little kind of ripple to it. It just makes it more unique when it's not as symmetrical. So like I'll change this one to have it kind of got a little heart shape to it. Make it whichever you prefer. If you like them nice and even, go right ahead. Also, when you overlap the petals, it also makes it look more realistic. If they're so equally spaced out, then it's gonna have a different effect to it, rather than having it more look realistic, having them overlap, different shapes, different color petals. One's blue, one's white, one's really white, one's mixed, whichever you want to do. So then I'm just going to do another one here. And now if you decide that you like more petals, add some more. There's nothing wrong in adding more flower petals to yours. Like if you don't like 7, make 10. Whatever you want to do. It's your painting. So as you can see, I'm actually kind of adding a little bit more dimension to mine. I'm not doing my petals very even. And look, see, now I've got a darker one in there. It just makes it a little bit more unique. I'm going to do this. This one's going to get really close to that one. You don't want them so evenly spaced out. If you get them nice and close together, then it actually looks like a bouquet of flowers. If you have too much paint on your paintbrush, then go ahead and just wipe it off. See, I'm just making nice little U shapes. That one kind of got a little close to the center. That's okay. No worries. And just keep kind of adding on your flower petals. Now if you don't want them this blue, then add more white. It's not a problem. And if you overlap over here, that's okay, you can overlap over that. So I've got some of those. I've got 2 more I'm going to do here. I might end up adding just a tiny one over here. We'll see. So add painting a petal right about here. And again, you don't have to make them nice and straight. You can make them oblong if you want to make them oblong. You can make them all even. Whatever you prefer doing is just fine. Now remember, we're still going to be adding stems in later too, so we'll be able to see those because they're going to be coming out over here and they're going to be connecting to all of those flowers. I think I'm going to do one right about here. You can add lots of paint, you can add a little bit of paint, you can make them pretty see-through. If you want to do them see-through, then you'll add not very much paint. It's going to be really thin because, you know, flowers in real life are actually very paper thin, so you can make them really thin. If you do that, you'll be seeing the background a lot more whenever you make them really thin. And I think I might add one right about here. So, like, I liked the 7, but I think I might be adding, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to add my last one down over here. And I'm going to be having 8. So, apparently, this one needed 8. Instead of my odd number. Just kind of depends on what you like to look at. If you like even, do even. If you like odd numbers, do odd. There you go. So I got a tiny one at the bottom. And then later, if I want to add another one in there, I can add another one in there. Not a problem. So at this point, we're going to let everything dry because the middle is very wet on some of these. And the reason why I didn't paint a lot in the middle over here is because it's so, I don't want blue to be inside of my painting here. Now, if a lot of them were white, that would be okay. You can actually connect them that way if you like that. That's not a problem. But most of mine actually turn out pretty decent. And some of them you can actually, I can actually do orange in the middle. So I'm not going to do straight orange. I'm going to be end up doing just a little bit of a lighter orange. So we'll let this dry and then we will come right back to it.